Well, hello, fellow RVers and future fellow RVers. What? Yes. Thank you for asking. I did get a haircut. Yeah. All right. Well, what I want to do is wrap this what kind of RV should you get? I want to wrap this 3 episode series up with this hopefully short conclusion. Some of the other things that you need to think about when you're considering what kind of RV you should get is number one, water capacity. How much water do you want to have with you when you're out using your RV? Is 30 gallons fine? Is 40 gallons what you need? Do you need 80 gallons of water? Right? If you're going to camp mostly at RV parks, you're probably going to have access to water. So a smaller tank won't necessarily be an issue for you. You'll just hook your hoses up to the provided water and you'll have a basically unlimited supply of water while you're at that spot. But if you're going to be out on, say, Bureau of Land Management land, or you're going to be in state or city parks, often there you don't have a water hookup. So the water that you have with you is the water that you have with you. You know, that's for doing your dishes, it's for drinking if you drink the RV water, it's for showering, it's for flushing the toilet, it's for brushing your teeth. So if you have 30 gallons of water, plan accordingly. If you have 80 gallons of water, you know, that's almost 3 times the amount of water that a 30-gallon tank has. So think about where you're going to use your RV and how much water are you going to need or be comfortable with, right? An 80-gallon fresh water tank will let you stay out a lot longer than a 30-gallon water tank. Now, there's discussions also about, do you travel with fresh water in your holding tank? Do you travel with no water in your tank? Well, a lot of that's going to depend on you and your comfort level, right? A lot of people travel with a little bit of water in their freshwater tank for just in case something happens and they need water, like a tire blows out and you have to wait several hours for it to be repaired. Do you want to have some water on board? Have some water. Do you need full 80 gallons? Probably not. So water capacity is something for you to think about and look at. Another thing, generator. Do you need a generator? Do you want a generator? Right? We've had 2 travel trailers. Neither of those had a generator, and we did not buy an external generator to provide power for them. We have the Class C and this Class A. Both came with generators to power the entire RV. So if I turn this generator on, I can run both ACs, I can use the microwave, it powers the refrigerator. And basically, if I pull over at a truck stop and I need power, I can turn that generator on, use the microwave, get dinner, shut the microwave off, and then go on our merry way, or decide to sleep there. We've done that too. In fact, my wife mentioned that one of the best nights of sleep she had ever gotten was in a truck stop. So that's possible to do as well. But, you know, how will you be using your RV? Where will you be using your RV? Just an aside on that, I told you guys we had lived in North Carolina, and there's ice storms that come through the area where we lived. And one time an ice storm came in and knocked out all of the power. And so obviously the houses did not have electrical power, so people's heat went out. People couldn't use any of the electric devices in their homes. So a lot of our neighbors went out and, you know, got in their cars and backed their cars out of their garages and turned the heater on to be warm in their car. We went outside. I chiseled the ice sheet off of the door to the Class C because it was covered in ice. I chiseled that open so that we could get into the RV. And when we got in the RV, I just turned on the generator and we had a full Class C's worth of amenities, right? We cooked bacon and eggs for breakfast that morning inside the Class C. We had our refrigerator that worked. We had our heater and furnace that worked. So It was, for us, it was mildly inconvenient to be out of the house waiting for the electricity to come back on, but it was way more convenient than sitting huddled in a car having the heat from the car heater to warm us up. And yes, we did invite several of the neighbors over to the RV to have breakfast, sit on the couch, things like that. And after that event, the neighbor right across the street from us, they bought an RV. So there's some good that comes with having a generator. If you need it, you can potentially end up using that right in your very own driveway. Fuel tank capacity. Like if you have a motorized RV, do you want a large tank or do you want a small tank? A large tank means you can usually go a little bit farther, but it costs a lot more to fill up. It means you can run your generator a little bit longer because these generators run off the same fuel tank that the engine runs off. And at a certain level, gas level in your tank, the generator will stop running because the vehicle's designed to leave like a quarter of a tank of gas so that you can still drive your vehicle somewhere. So more gas is more weight, which uses more gas. So something to think about. Do you need or want a generator? We like the options that come with having a generator on board. Solar power. People say, well, I'll just get solar. That makes sense. We have 800 watts of solar power, but it's not on the roof of any of our vehicles. Right? If you put it on the roof, number one, you have to drill holes into your roof to hold that solar panel on. More holes, more potential for leaks. Water leaks are probably the number one destroyer of things RV. So less holes in the roof, less chance of getting water in or through the roof. Now you can make sure they're sealed, you can check them all the time, you can keep them resealed. There are plenty of ways to keep water from coming through holes in your roof for solar panels. You just have to do it. What we do with the 800 watts of solar panels that we have is I just run cordage, electrical cord, out to the solar panels. And then I have that connect to the charge controller, which is then connected to the batteries, and we just charge, right? So we park the RV in the shade, which helps keeping the RV cool, while the batteries are out in the sun collecting the energy for that solar power. So if you're thinking about solar, you don't have to have it on your roof. You can have it out to the side, front, or back of your RV, wherever the sun is shining, and keep your RV in cooler shade. Something else to think about is what size propane tank do you want? Or do you even want propane? Some people want to go just all electric, which you can figure out how to do. We like the option of having the propane tank because we feel that we can do more with the propane than just with electricity, especially if you have an RV refrigerator that will run off of propane or electric. You also have options with your water heater. Well, first, do you want a water tank? Do you want a 6-gallon hot water tank? Do you want a 10-gallon hot water tank? Or do you want a hot water on-demand waterless tank? Right? Those are some decisions to think about as well. We've always had 6-gallon hot water tanks, and we've never run out of hot water. Like, I've showered in the RV many times, and I've never run out of hot water. But we also have a little button on the faucet for the shower head that we can push to turn the water off without adjusting the knobs, right? Because once you get the temperature set to the warmth that you want, you don't want to have to turn those knobs off, turn those knobs back on, turn those knobs off, turn those knobs back on. You just keep the knobs open to where it's comfortable water for you and push the little button in or push the little button out to have the water flow again. There, you don't get the burst of cold on you or the burst of hot on you. So another consideration with water and what kind of hot water tank do you want. Also things like an external kitchen or external TV, external speakers. Do you want to be able to do most of your cooking outside? Usually those are in the back or on the side where you can have an outside kitchen. Maybe you have a stove, they usually have a sink, they usually have a small refrigerator, and those are nice, but they take up storage space. So we don't particularly care for the outside kitchen, because if we need something out of the refrigerator, we can just walk into the RV and get it. We have a portable propane stove or grill that I take out of the storage compartment, put on the picnic table, and we cook there. So for us, an outside kitchen just takes up a lot of space that we would rather have for storage. So you have to ask yourself, do you want that external kitchen, or would you rather have the storage space? Same thing with the external TV. We don't use the RV to watch TV, so we don't need external TVs. In fact, in the Class C and the travel trailers, we took the TVs out. We have not taken the TVs out of this Class A yet, but there are four TVs in here. So we probably do not need 4 TVs. We'll probably leave the 2 small ones in the bunk so like grandkids can play games and watch DVDs while they're in the bunk. But I don't suspect that we will have 4 TVs in here for the duration. Something else to think about. The decals on the side of your RV, you know, the swooshes and the swipes and the really shiny things that give your RV that pizzazz as people look at it. Well, decals are exposed to the weather, the sun, the rain, the elements, and after time, they often tend to start cracking, or they'll even start to peel off. So just know that if you have decals, at some point in time, they're probably going to not look as nice as they do when you buy the RV new or just barely used. So there are things that you can do to help minimize the effects of weather on your decals, but again, more expense, more time, more maintenance. Or do you want full body paint, right? Full body paint is just what it says. It's the swooshes and the splashes are all part of the paint on the RV, so that it's not there to crack or peel off. Now, you might get a paint chip that you would have to fix, but it's different than the decals. So just know that bright shiny RV with the nice swooshes and swashes on the outside, at some point in time, if those are decals, they're probably not going to be so bright and shiny, and they may crack and peel. You may also want to talk about, do you want a new RV or do you want a used RV? We've had 4 RVs now. We've never purchased a new RV. We've always had used, and we expect to pay used prices. And we also expect that we're going to find some nicks and dings on the inside or the outside that come from having used a recreational vehicle and us purchasing it after someone else has used it. So for example, we have faux leather in this Class A. Some of it is starting to peel, just basically from age and from use. So for example, on the sofa right in front of me, some of the cushions were starting to peel where people's legs rubbed against them. So we just turned those cushions around. So now the back of the cushion with the zipper is facing front, and the peeling part is facing into the back. Nobody will probably ever notice that the zippers are facing forward, but you also don't see the peeling. So there are seat covers, there are sofa covers, there's things that you can put on. If you have nicks and dents in the wall, you can use touch-up pen for that. There's a lot of things that you can do to fix those prior nicks and dings. Like I told you before, you know, the windshield on the drive home got a rock thrown into it and put a little chip in the front windshield. So having some pre-scuffs and some pre-scratches makes it a little bit more bearable when you create a scratch or a scuff. And we have, like I told you, we've had 3 cats, and our cats are not declawed, so they like to claw at things. In the house, we have 2 scratch pads and a scratching pole. When we bring the cats to the RV, we bring the scratching pads and the scratching pole, and we put those out for the cats. So the cats are familiar with their scratch pads and their scratch pole, and they generally only scratch their scratch pads and their scratch pole. So think about those kind of things and where you're going to put them. But we've never had a major problem with buying used. We look at it very closely. Before I purchased this Class A, I let the dealership let me take the Class A. They drove it to a maintenance shop where we get our RV maintenance work done, and we had it inspected before we agreed to buy it. So you can protect yourself in that way. And we got a 4-year warranty with the purchase for not very much more. So we have a lot on the used RV that's covered through that 4-year warranty. So those are things to consider. Again, I would say rent before you buy. Rent several kinds of RVs. Rent a travel trailer, rent a Class C, rent a Class A. Pay that money to test it for a weekend or a week and see if it's got what you really do like. And make notes. We like having an oven. We don't need an oven, right? We like having all the storage space. We would rather have had an outdoor kitchen. You can make those notes, and then after you've rented a few times in a few different types of RVs, you can decide more about what you think you want and what would be nice to have, and then you can make your decision to purchase new or purchase used. But it'll be, as I've said before, it'll be less expensive to rent a couple times and figure out what you really do want, what's a must-have and what's a nice-to-have. Figure that out before you go and buy an RV, right? Buying an RV will be much more expensive in the long run than renting a few of them and testing them out. So with that, put your comments in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer the questions that you have based on our experiences for the last umpteen year, well, not umpteen, but numerous years of having RV experience. I also found out that I am supposed to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. Apparently the buttons to do that are down there somewhere, and I've been told that it's absolutely free to you to like this video and to subscribe to the channel for future videos. So if free is for you, please like and subscribe to the channel. And with that, we will call it a wrap on what kind of RV should you get. Thanks. I look forward to your comments, and we will talk with you later.